Everybody chipped in to make Aoro's and Wandia's wedding a resounding success. The groom looked handsome in a pale grey suit, and the bride was positively radiant in a cascade of white lace. Everyone involved felt as if he had a stake in the marriage and thus willed it to succeed. The festivities went on late into the night, and eventually everybody dropped off replate and footsore from food and dance. The couple crept off and drove home in Vera's car to collect their bags. Vera had arranged with a business colleague for the two to make use of a company cottage just off the coast of Malindi. There they spent an idyllic 7 days, but soon it was time to get back home. The mundane activities of everyday life awaited them. Wandia had to organize her transfer from Machakos to Nairobi, and Aoro's bachelor pad had to be made more habitable. Wedding presents had to be opened and thank you notes dispatched. Vera and Wandia, who are as different as east from west, yet so similar in some ways, became fast friends. Each sensed an inner strength in the other and automatically responded to it. Becky remained unhappily aloof. Whatever thawing had occurred before was now firmly frozen over. Vera was concerned as to the kind of influence her lifestyle might have on her children, who had inherited their mother's extraordinary beauty, went to exclusive schools but somehow looked lost and confused. For Becky changed men as frequently as she changed clothes. Vera was so incensed at one point that she forgot her strictly hands-off policy and suggested to her sister that she send the children home to Mark and Elizabeth or to Canada to their father. Becky's answer was scathing and to the point. If Vera knew so much about children, why didn't she get married and get some of her own? Vera was very quiet for a moment that seemed to last forever. Looking at the smooth planes of her face and the calm, clear eyes, one would not have known that a fierce struggle for self-control was going on inside. I am sorry if that is the way you see it, she said at last, her voice even. But I was not thinking of either me or you, but of the children. For their sakes, I think we should be able to rise above our differences, whatever they are. She stood up, and just as she did, Alicia, Becky's eldest child, walked in, and on seeing her aunt, ran to her smiling. Auntie, I didn't know you were here. She gave her aunt a big hug and sat gazing at her. She was truly a lovely child, having inherited the best of both worlds, with big brown eyes, masses of wavy deep brown hair, and her mother's lovely complexion, but with a lighter tone. Unlike Becky though, there was humanness in the sensitive mouth and receptive eyes. Well, now you know. Where's your brother? He's in his room. Johnny missed his father a lot and he tended to stay in his room since his departure. He was a quiet child with few friends. Vera noticed how Alicia had not said a single word to her mother. Becky had no time for her children, and they in turn had learned to do without her, not without some deep hearts. But she loved her Aunt Vera so much that she once asked her whether she could come and live with her. Vera's heart had contracted. No, you can't. But why? For many reasons, but mostly because you have a mommy that loves you and daddy may come to see you once in a while. I'm only your auntie, you know. Oh, it was a small, resigned sound. Faced with the dilemma of Becky and her children, she instinctively turned to Wandia. She was young, yes, but she was a doctor and a damn smart girl to boot. Maybe she would have some ideas. She found Wandia sitting in the balcony of their flat, sunning herself in the warm evening sun. She had not been at work for a couple of days because she had a bad cold. She was pregnant and had confided to Vera that she was expecting twins. Vera was delighted and treated her like a priceless and breakable porcelain object which had amused her largely. People have triplets, you know, and they survive, mused Wandia, and true enough, she had been remarkably fit. Her appetite was great, Morning sickness had not shown its miserable face, and she continued working hard until now, at 8 months. Her obstetrician had decided that her cough was too severe and might rupture the membranes before time. In truth, she herself was glad to rest a little. The baby seemed to alternate between playing football and handball with her internal organs, and they were getting heavier by the minute. It will be nice to laze, if only for a few days. "Hi, elephant," greeted Vera, smiling at her. "Hi, and don't count on my being elephant for much longer. The way I'm coughing, I may just send a baby flying out unceremoniously at any moment." "I hope not. It sure will be a relief. These relatives of yours are giving my insides a thorough beating. Sometimes I feel as if it is Gor Mahia versus AFC football clubs vying for some trophy at City Stadium. It is really awful." "Sounds interesting," answered Vera, laughing. She dragged a chair and sat looking at her sister-in-law. "I need your advice." "Sure. This business with my sister Becky. Since she and John broke up, she has thrown all cautions to the wind. It's almost as if she hates herself. Every time I see her, she has a different man and she doesn't care who knows it, and that includes her own children. The effect on the children is noticeable already. Johnny hardly talks and Alicia acts as if her mother is not there. I went there today and told her to send the children to mom and dad or to their father. And? Of course, she insulted me." "How old are the children?" "Alicia is 7 and Johnny is 5. "I'm a bit surprised. It is unlike you to butt in, but I suppose you're pretty incensed. That aside, there is nothing much you can do. The law bends over backwards to allow children to stay with their mother. Besides, how do you know that John will be interested? Children can really ground one. As for Mark and Elizabeth, forget it. They've done their job and done it pretty well. However, now that you bring the matter up, I must tell you that I have had some disquiet about Becky. I think she has lost a significant amount of weight. Have you noticed?" "What are you suggesting?" asked Vera, horror written all over her face. "Well, according to you, she's promiscuous." "What a terrible word." "I know, but I think we have more cause for worry than you suspect." "How terrible?" She was beginning to sound like a broken record. This was her sister. She did love her. Hell, they'd started life together from the first moment of conception. Besides, these terrible things only happen to other people, not people you knew and loved. My friend, AIDS is spreading faster than wildfire. Sexual behavior and attitude are very hard to change. For a long time, people only feared pregnancy. Once that fear was supposedly banished and antibiotics became available to cure all manner of venereal diseases, anything went. As for God, hasn't he been completely forgotten if he ever existed? No, answered Vera with quiet conviction. You can run away, but you cannot forget. The memory of him is deep there within you. Oh. Wandia looked into her subconscious, but no such memory stirred. I can feel nothing. Don't worry, there will be a day and a place. If you say so. Wandia gave Vera her stock answer. They sat like that for a while, each lost in thought. Eventually, Wandia dragged herself to her feet awkwardly, using all manner of maneuvers. Come in, I will make you a cup of tea. The Greeks had their ambrosia. We Kenyans have tea. You are crazy now, you know, laughed Vera and looked at her sister-in-law with gentle affection. Auro was a lucky man indeed. There's this saying that you don't have to be good, all you have to be is lucky. Auro is one such lucky man, I suppose. It is the law of fair distribution. Oh, he is stabilizing and he does have a lot of good intentions. Furthermore, life with him is always interesting. He does come up with some amazing things. I am also lucky that he has utmost respect for Mark and tries to emulate him in most things. Is that true? Vera was amazed. Insofar as she knew, Auro had never had any use for a father he considered too harsh. But everybody changes and everybody grows up sooner or later. Quite true, though he himself does not see it like that. He thinks that he's charting a completely unexplored path to good husbandhood and fatherhood. Vera had to make tea as Wandia went into a spasm of coughing that sent her reeling into a chair. When she brought her a cup, she found her half lying, half sitting, and clutching her abdomen. The time had come.